Surprise, my little squares. I've got count 'em, two reviews for the price of one, which is free, but still pretty great. What I have to show you guys today is the Portico 75 and the Melon soda switches, both of which you can get from the Key Company. I'll leave a link below. This was a Portico bundle build that I built for a friend, and he let me spend some time with it to write this review. Now you can get the Portico and the Melon soda separately, however the Key Company made the choice to get these easier by bundling them together with a set of keycaps as well. This set was only available for a weekend, but there are other full sets available for sale like this one here. So first, I'd like to talk about the board. The board is great. From my experience owning a Portico 68, these boards have a nice old school Gameboy look, which is what drew both me and my friend to this board. They have a surprisingly poppy feel and sound without being stiff. There aren't any flex cuts, but it's nice because it really has a very even typing experience, which is a lot less exhausting in my opinion. Not to say flex cuts are bad, this board just happens to work well without them. It's also got gasket mounting with an FR4 plate. You can't really go wrong with that. And the board comes with so much stuff, like tools to build the board, which more expensive boards have not done, a cable, a switch puller, a keycap puller, stabilizers, dampening pads, and other extra pieces. You get a carrying case too. It's just such a good option, especially for the entry-level crowd. The mats that the board comes with don't feel like it's too much. There are a lot of boards nowadays that just throw so much foam in. It is nice that those boards give you options, but I prefer that the foam included is intentional. It's really straightforward to build, especially with the external screws. The reason this works is because the external screws fit the aesthetic of the board anyway. I would have said that the price is a downside, but the 75 is cheaper than the 68 somehow, and is super reasonably priced at $115 alone or $193 to include keycaps and switches. I do have a few negative things to nitpick though, because nothing is perfect, except for this video. The screws for the standoffs are too short, and this is a problem with the 68 as well. If they weren't tight enough, it was super easy for them to just fall out. Also, the layout is odd for me, although that's really subjective. It seems like they could have utilized this empty space a little more, maybe either another switch or a badge. It's just kinda empty. The knob also is just okay for me. It's nice to use for volume since I usually designate 2 keys on the right for the volume anyway, but knobs kind of lost their novelty and don't really do much for me. Again, this is really subjective, but I suppose it sort of fits the vibe of the board. That's kind of all I really have for negatives though. Now let's talk about the switches. It's hard not to see the appeal and nostalgia of the marble soda switches. The ones in this board are the Melon soda version. They have a 72-gram linear spring, which is such a big jump from the 55-gram spring in the original marble sodas. They have a nylon housing and a palm stem, and they come at a cost of 65 cents per switch. They have a higher pitch sound signature that is actually pretty mild. There is a sort of vibraty sound when you press certain keys. I think it's mostly due to just how heavy the spring is, but it's not too bad or distracting. Overall, a very solid clack. In regards to feel, these switches have a really nice feel. They are really smooth like most switches nowadays. The thing that surprises me though is the weight. 67-gram tangerines are hard for me to use, but I was surprisingly okay using these switches for a full day of work and felt fine. These also were pretty good for gaming when I used them, and I feel like I actually performed better than normal. Obviously, the bottom out is not as satisfying since the weight makes it harder to do that, but the actual press is nice, like pushing through jello, I guess. I don't know if that's a good descriptor, but it feels good. My friend wanted a heavier switch, so this is perfect. With that said, here's a sound test. Overall, this is a great keyboard kit and a good Switch on their own. Together they make an amazing bundle. I was getting tired of my Portico 68, but I forgot how fun it was to have a more interesting case like this. And for the cheaper price of the 75, it's a pretty easy buy. I'll be honest, the Melon Soda switches don't really stand out a whole lot with just the ridiculous amount of good switches that are available nowadays. But that doesn't mean they're bad at all. In fact, they are also pretty par with other popular switches like Tangerine. So who do I recommend these items to? I would recommend the Portico first to someone who is looking for an entry-level board and maybe wants to get everything from the same place. I would also recommend this to someone who likes that fun polycarb look. I would recommend the switches to people that like a heavier, smooth switch though. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all the support, and if you're able to drop a like, comment, or subscribe, it would really mean a lot. But if not, no worries. I hope you all have a great day and stay squared.